Hello, this is Salvatore Vinciguerra, and welcome to this video on the Mike Roess Goldhead Branch State Park in Keystone Heights, Florida. The Mike Roess Goldhead Branch State Park is located in northern Florida. First, I will be sharing some of the information about the RV campsites, primitive campsites, and cabins, and then later in the video I'll be sharing some of the history of the state park, giving you a little bit of a tour of the different hiking and nature trails. Activities at the state park include birding, hiking, camping, biking, picnicking. There's a beach. You can even go swimming in the beach in the waters of these lakes if you dare to bear those alligators. And there's also an area for equestrian horse riding. This is the map given to me by the park ranger, and it starts off at the top of the map at State Road 21. There's a paved road that goes down to the ravine, and then you're driving down through the swimming or fishing area where they have a picnicking area. And then there are cabins located by the Little Lake Johnson, and then the RV campsites are located next to Big Lake Johnson. RV sites have electric and water only. There's no sewer, but there's a dump station. They also have a bathroom with shower facilities, and these are the campsites that overlook the lake. So you can reserve these in advance, and they are pretty nice sites. This is campsite number 54. All campsites come with a picnic table and a fire ring. And from this video you can see that the driveway is large enough to accommodate an even larger RV or maybe a travel trailer. You can also see the distance on either side of the trailers, and in this video you can see all of the different sites that are next door. And we even have some French Canadian tourists in their own unique travel trailers. Now I'm going to show you the outside of the cabins that overlook the lake. So this is the walkway on the side of the cabin. There's plenty of space in between these cabins. These cabins are great for family reunions and people that are traveling with large groups. They have a balcony that overlooks the lake, and they each come with a picnic table and again a fire ring or barbecue pit. And you can see how secluded this is from the lake, and they have screened in porches, and then they overlook the lake. This is a better photograph of looking at the lake, and then this is from the lake looking at the back of the cabin. Now we're going to be taking a look at some of the picnic areas, and these are the pavilions that are very nicely situated above some of the lakes, and you can rent these out and reserve them so that you can have maybe a family reunion or a birthday party. Very nice overlooks of the lake, but please watch out for the alligators as they are in the area. Nestled amongst the oak trees is a children's play area with a swing set, and it's surrounded by picnic tables, picnic pavilions, and way in the back is the volleyball court. Now we're going to be taking a look at the beach area, and you notice that there is a pavilion for restrooms and a changing area. You can also go kayaking and canoeing in these lakes, and they have the rentals right there for you. They will have warnings about the alligators in some of these lakes and streams and rivers in the state of Florida. But also note that a lot of people still do go swimming in these lakes without any problems, or not even seeing the alligators anywhere in the area, always ask the park ranger what type of wildlife is going to be out so that you know what types of warnings you need to be prepared for if you do decide to go in these lakes. You notice that there's no lifeguard on duty. I know plenty of people that would save me if I ever drowned in the lake, but it is a very nice lake and area to visit, and I'm sure the swimming is great here too on a hot sunny day. The Mike Roess Goldhead Branch State Park has a variety of different hiking trails that are all over the state park. And if you look at some of these maps, I would highly suggest that you study them very well. They have a lot of different trails that lead you through different experiences. And the first one here is the Fern Loop and Ridge Trail, which the Fern Loop is 1/4 of a mile, and then the White Blaze part of the trail is about another mile. And even the Lolly Lobby Loop Trail in the lime green blaze is about a mile or so if you look at the various maps. And then, of course, you have the Florida Trail, which is about 6 miles. It's the orange blaze. And they're marked throughout the entire park. And actually, this is one of the few places where you can hike the Florida Trail within this state park. Now I'm going to be taking you to the northern part of the state park, and this is called the Ravine Staircase. And so we're looking down here at the ravine, and you notice that this is part of the ecological system of the state park, where when it rains, the ravine collects water, and then that water goes into the streams, and then into the lakes and other parts of the state park. The trail that is in this area is called the Fern Loop, and it then goes into the Ridge Trail, and I'll be talking about the Ridge Trail a little bit later. But you can see the different types of terrain that you have here at the ravine site. Now, as we're looking at the ravine and looking at other parts of the Fern Loop Trail, I'm going to be giving you a little bit about the history of this particular state park. And this is one of Florida's first state parks, and it was originally called the Goldhead Branch, and it was first part of the park system in Florida in 1935. The initial property was donated by Martin J. Roess and developed by the Civilian Conservation Corps. The Civilian Conservation Corps was launched in 1933 under the direction of President Franklin D. Roosevelt to combat unemployment during the Great Depression. In 1935, the Civilian Conservation Corps met with Company 2444, which was 25 seasoned craftsmen, and they were able to establish Camp SP5. Together, they planted trees, cleared areas for campsites, built roads, and constructed many of the buildings still in use at the park today. The state park was officially dedicated on April 15, 1939, and for years the park was simply known as the Goldhead Branch until 1966, when the Florida Board of Parks and Historical Monuments changed the name to honor the late Mike Roess. He died in 1952. And now this is at the bottom of the ravine or the staircase, and this is on the Fern Loop Trail. In this part of the video, you can actually see the staircase with a railing, and I do caution you that they do need to upgrade this particular part of the state park, as the staircase is quite steep and it does need some refurbishment. Now we're going along the Ridge Trail, and you notice that it's about a mile long, and just going to walk along here a little bit so that you can get an understanding of this part of the trail. Here's another look at that ravine from the bottom up. I'll be taking you to the mill site, which is located in the middle of the state park. And this is where the primitive camping area is. And on this Ridge Trail and Lobby Lolly Trail, this is also part of the Great Florida Trail. I would highly suggest that if you're going to do some of these trails, especially in this part of the park, that you bring plenty of water and that you bring plenty of supplies, as this may be a remote part of the park where nobody may come out and get you if you get lost or if you take a long time getting through the trail. And this is where the mill would have been, and it would have consisted of a sawmill, cotton gin, and grist mill, and they were constructed around 1900. And although they don't exist anymore, this is documented as an historical site. The mill also served as a church, and you'll find out in the history that the Gardara Baptist Church was one of the oldest churches in the area and was organized in 1876. Its first services were held in an old log cabin located on Hilton Heads of CR 315. When the cabin burned to the ground, services were moved to an old mill site on the east side of Baptism Lake, now called Lake Johnson, in the Gold Head Branch State Park. During dry weather, members could reach the church without any problems, but wet weather put a hardship on those that had to walk. They would have to walk through mud and slush and sometimes walk a log foot bridge in order to get to the old mill. Far from comfortable, the old mill was windowless and had huge cracks in the floor. Many of the young children entertained themselves through the long services by watching fish swimming in the lake underneath. The congregation was made up of people that came from a 10 to 12 mile radius, which took in Grandin to the south, Swindle Lake, now known as White Sands Lake, to the west, and Belmore to the north. When members had to walk a long distance to get to Sunday morning services, they usually stayed over a friend's house who lived near the church for lunch, then started the long walk home that afternoon. A short history compiled by Gardara members for their 100th year celebration observed in September of 1976 tells of two people who were buried at the site of the Old Mill Church, and this is brought to us by the Lake Region Monitor on September 1st of 1983 by Doris Overstreet. This is Salvatore Vinciguerra. Thank you for watching this video on the Mike Roess Goldhead Branch State Park in Keystone Heights, Florida. If you like this video, please like it, subscribe to this channel, and have a great day. Thank you.